What's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence is back in the building again on the Fluenceboxing side of the game. Happy Thursday to everybody up out of there. Look, we got the weekend coming up. We are almost out of the week. We're going to be able to chill. We're going to be able to enjoy ourselves. We got Fluence Lounge coming up Saturday. We got some good boxing fights that we're going to be watching. Of course, Little Ramirez versus Demetria Bivol is happening this Saturday, which I just can't wait for. That's going to be a fire-ass fight. I'm pretty sure the Floyd Deji fight is this weekend. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, too. And I know I'm missing something else that is happening this weekend. But either way, hey, it all comes down to the fact that the weekend's almost here, and I'm happy about that. So once again, happy Thursday to the people. I just want to double salute as always to everybody up out of here. Tonight, we have an interesting topic to talk about. We have a lot of reaction videos to get into. A lot of things to cover tonight. It's all going to be based around Terence, Crawford, Errol, Spence. Look, there's a lot to go, there's a lot to be talked about when it comes to this particular subject. There's a lot of things to be discussed. There's a lot of things to break down. There's a lot of things to have focus on. There's a lot of things, put into a box, compartmentalize what's going on and be able to break it down and say what is really happening here, right? It's the talk of the boxing community, guys. Terence Crawford, Errol Spence is the talk of the boxing community. So obviously, we're going to have to go ahead and check out the video of Terence Crawford basically supposedly exposing the negotiation, exposing the contract, exposing what went on when it came to the back and forth between Terence Crawford and his team, Errol Spence, Heymon, and PBC. So we're going to be checking that video out to see specifically what he said. Then, of course, we have the response from Errol Spence. Errol Spence responds to that video. That video came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. It's pretty recent. Errol Spence has responded to that as of recently as today. We have some Twitter back and forth between the two we're going to be checking out as well. We have Oscar De La Hoya coming out and siding with Terence Crawford. There's so many different things going on with this situation. I'm almost like, I want to say hopefully, not that just Terence Crawford is exposed, because I put that as a title, everybody can just hop in, but not just that we find out if Terence Crawford is exposing what is going on when it comes to the negotiation, but I'm really hoping that this just kind of blows up boxing, period, when it comes to how some of these entities, how some of these promotions can manipulate a lot of us on the outside looking in, be able to control the media, control the narrative, and have us think a certain way, when in reality, that's not even what's going on. I don't know yet. I haven't listened to anything. I haven't watched anything. I haven't read anything. I'm just going off of speculation, but we're going to get into all those tonight. We're going to be watching all those videos. Hey, also, too, you already know how it goes when it comes down to Fluenceboxing, man. When the time is right, I'm going to drop the link in that chat. Y'all going to be able to hop up in here. Y'all going to be able to debate. Y'all going to be able to talk your shit, go off and say how you feel and feel how you say. I'm going to tell you this right now. We had a awesome debate. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. Today's Thursday, so I think it was Tuesday. It's Tuesday or Monday. I can't remember what the day was, but awesome debate. R. West was in here. Dub Rice did his thing. Raz, he was a new one up here. He did his thing, man. I really appreciate it. Zim was in here too. We had a great debate. I'm gonna be cutting that up actually, and I'm just gonna be dropping that debate. I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes of us talking about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence negotiations. That will be dropping tomorrow morning or late tonight. So y'all look out for that. Depending on how long this stream is. I'll be dropping that edited version of the debate we had on Monday or Tuesday, either late tonight or it's going to be early tomorrow morning. So y'all look out for that. And that's going to be the new thing, man, on the Fluenceboxing. If y'all hop up in here, we start talking. Y'all, when I drop the link and y'all get in here, I will cut it up and I will just drop the part where we're all debating. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to watch it back, y'all don't want to see all the bullshit that I was talking beforehand, y'all can enjoy that. So y'all look out for that video. Y'all already know. Okay, so with that being said, before we get into the topics, before we get into the reaction videos, before we get into all the good stuff, make sure y'all come up in here, man. Hit the like button for your boy, man. It means everything. It gets me into the algorithm, helps your boy out. Subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. That's a big deal as well. Notification gang. And of course, as always, comment, man. Give me an algorithm. You know what it is. But all right, now all that's out of the way, let's get into the topics, y'all. Or should I say topic? It's basically we're focusing on one topic, but there's so many various things surrounding it. It's like we have so much to cover when it comes to this. So obviously a lot of y'all that's coming in here, we already know what the situation is. We already know what the deal is. We already know what the story is when it comes to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. It's been exhausted. It's been talked about, not only for this year, but shit, for the last 4 years, if you a boxing head. Like, that's just what it is. That's just what the case is. We got Let's Talk About It in here on the early side of the game. What's good with it? Let's talk about it. Hopefully we got a good stream going on tonight, man. We're going to have some fun. So salute to the people. But so this is something that we've, you can say that's been exhausted, talked about for the last 4 years if you've been following boxing. Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. The thing that's been interesting, though, throughout this entirety of this back and forth, the speculation, the hopefulness, the possibility of this fight happening. What's been interesting is we haven't had much details about the entire situation. We haven't had much being said outside of we're trying to make this fight happen, right? Errol Spence was very particular on the words that he would say when it comes to this fight happening. Terence Crawford, he would be as well, but he would obviously always say this is one thing about Terence Crawford. He always made a point to say, I want the Errol Spence fight, right? No matter what you guys say, you guys can look back, document it. Errol Spence has always been the one saying, I'll take that fight. Sure. But he never necessarily called specifically out Terence Crawford. Crawford, on the hand, would do that. Now, does that mean anything? No, obviously not, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the promotional companies. I know a lot of people want to get into their bag and they want to say, hey, well, at the end of the day, it really just comes down if the fighters want to fight. If the fighters say they want the fight, they'll make the fight happen. I really hate that narrative because it's not true. It is not true. If the fighters want the fight, that's cool. But if it doesn't make sense money-wise, if niggas ain't losing money out on the event, if they can put it together and they know as far as the promotional companies, as far as the advertisement, as far as the broadcasting partners, if they know money's to be made, they'll make it. If they think there's not money to be made, I don't care if goddamn Tyson Fury wants to fight Gervonta Davis. We ain't gonna make our money back. It's not happening. So it's interesting to me where there's this narrative when it comes to this, that at the end of the day, if the fighters want the fight will happen. I just don't believe that, because we're in a position right now, or not me, but they're in a position at the point where you're making so much money. You only have so much to say when it comes to how your career is going to be dictated, because when you're making that much amount of money, you're making a lot of money for the people who work for you or work with you as well. So it's a consensus group decision. And it's like people don't want to understand that or accept that, because we're so infatuated with the idea of, I love this fighter. This fighter's a warrior, so this was going to happen, right? And, obviously you can say that's my opinion. You can say that's my perspective. That's fine, okay? I just want to try and bring this perspective to people so you guys can kind of open up your mind. You know what I'm saying? Open it up a little bit. Don't be so focused on, this guy's ducking and he's scared and all this good stuff. But anyways, so back to the point I'm making when it comes to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence and how hard this fight has been, why this fight has been speculated to happen so long. And now we're at the point where I am hoping finally we're hearing just a little bit more when it comes to details, rhetoric, verbiage, where, okay, one of the fighters saying, yo, look, I know you guys think this is what is happening. Let me give you the real. So let's be honest. Errol Spence is not able to do that. Errol Spence can't be upfront outright and tell you what's really going on in this situation. Why? Because he's contractually obligated not to, because he's with PBC and Al Heymon, and negotiations stay under wrap, or he will most likely breach something in his contract, right? Then if you want to look on the other side when it comes to who? Terence Crawford. For a long time, he didn't say anything other than the fact that he wanted to fight. He didn't necessarily get very vocal about the fight until when? After he left Bob Errol, or they parted ways, split ways mutually, whatever the case you want to be, ran out of his, he did decide not to resign. That's when you start to verbally hear something from Terence Crawford. Not only verbally, but financially. He took Bob Errol to court. I know everybody wanted to focus on, oh, he took Bob Errol to court because he was being racist. Right? Because that was a narrative going around. No, if you really looked at what he took him to court for, he took him to court for money that he felt like he was owed, not just because of a racial factor that was put into, the lawsuit, but I think that was just to kind of get a little bit more money out of it. The specifics that you guys need to pay attention to was the fact he was promised that Bob Errol would do everything in his power to make the Errol Spence fight, and also that most likely he would be able to make the Errol Spence fight, which was the reason why he re-signed with Bob Errol, and he didn't get that fight. So his main reasoning behind the lawsuit and getting his money, or saying he was owed this amount of money, is the fact that, well, if you would have made the Errol Spence fight like you promised me, I would have made exponentially this much more money with you. But since you never got it to happen, I made this much. So you owe me this because you promised me the Errol Spence fights, right? So read the details. It says that was the main reason for the lawsuit. Everyone got so focused on the racial thing, you guys didn't understand exactly what the lawsuit was for. So that's when Terence Crawford came vocal, right? Now we're in a situation where Terence Crawford is basically his own promotion, right? He's his own promoter. He's his own entity. So what does that mean? If we want answers, if we want to know why this fight didn't happen, what's the case? Why was it so hard to make? Why did it come into place? Well, Terence Crawford can actually talk about it. I don't know, how far of an extent he can, but he can give us a lot more details than usually. Why? Because he's doing his own negotiation. He's his own team. So whatever information he wants to put out there regarding his side and how things went, he can do that. With Top Rank, probably not. Actually, with Top Rank, he can't. I know that because that's why we didn't hear anything about the Bob Arum promising the Errol Spence fight when he resigned that last time until after he was, contractually out of his contract and he sued him. So we know, just like Errol Spence never really talks about it. So with that being the case, in my mind, or at least in my, how can I say it? Me being hopeful in the sense of I'm not even putting in. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not saying that I think Terence Crawford is going to expose Errol Spence. Like, oh, Errol Spence is ducking, right? No. What I'm hoping he does is he sheds a light on how a lot of these negotiations go and how a lot of times we as fans, people who love to watch boxing, people who love to watch, the fighters that we feel are the best and want to root for, etc. We as fans get a better understanding. It's not as clear cut. It's not as simple. It's not as, copy and paste, dry, whatever the case you want to, whatever phrase you want to use, as Terence wants to fight, Errol wants to fight. So the fight's going to happen. Right. And I still feel like even though there's so much information out there and there's so many instances that show, otherwise, i.e., or for example, in case y'all didn't know what that meant, for example, Heymon versus Jamal Charlo, right? That fight didn't happen, and Oscar De La Hoya came out and said it was because of the broadcasting differences. PBC he did not want, as a broadcasting network, they said, hey, this got to be pay-per-view just on PBC. DAZN can't have anything to do with it, even though we all know Oscar De La Hoya is in a partnership with DAZN, so DAZN has to have something to do with it. There's also a problem with the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight happening, obviously because of the same thing, because, Gervonta Davis is under Al Heymon and PBC says he's not signed to Leonard Ellaby or Floyd Mayweather, but we all know he's with TMT to an extent. At least, he's his advisor, but they're not going to allow the broadcast. They're like, we need all broadcasting rights. We don't want DAZN involved. So that's just what it is. And that's something that we just can't ignore. That's part of the game. That's part of the system. That's how things go. Right. But a lot of people don't want to look at it that way. A lot of people just want to say, hey, this is my favorite fighter. And my favorite fighter wants to fight. He said he wants to fight. And the guy I don't like that he should be fighting, that's going to beat everybody else trying to say that he won't be able to beat. He doesn't want to fight. He's scared. Nah, at the end of the day, it's always what's going to be number one, business. What's going to be number 1A, money. What's going to be number 2, who's going to make the biggest cut of that? And then what comes number 3 is the fighters, right? Fighters, they're at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to this level of shit, right? That's just what it is. If you guys can't accept that, it's actually surprising and mind-boggling to me. But that's why I'm here, man. I'm going to try to educate y'all, make y'all feel a certain way about it. But either way, what I'm hoping from this entire live stream, what I'm hoping from looking at the reaction video to Terence Crawford talking about what really went on when it came to negotiations, or at least his viewpoint. I don't know how much he's going to expose. I don't know how much he's going to talk about it into length. He might end up being very vague about it. That might be a possibility. But I'm assuming in my mind that he says just enough to ruffle some feathers. And the reason why I think that is because Errol Spence responded numerous occasions. They had a Twitter back and forth. And also remember this too, guys. All of this could be dictated and put together, right, and constructed as the fact they felt like Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence was not big enough outside of the hardcore boxing fan base to do the numbers they're hoping to do for how much they're going to pay them. So what better than to cause controversy? What better than to cause have more eyes on this particular event? What better to have more people pay attention than to say, we were this close to a fight, supposed to happen on this date. Everyone was ready for that date. And it doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen because of X, Y, and Z. We're trying to figure out what is the main reasoning why this didn't happen. That's the big thing. So I think it can go a multitude of ways of how you look at this. We can look at it as, oh man, someone ducking this and that and making it so hard. Why does it have to be this way? This doesn't make any sense. You can also look at it from the aspect of, oh, well, this is just more promotion. They didn't think this fight was going to, they thought it was going to do good, but it wasn't going to do great like they hoped it was. Also, we're going to be, competing with some various other fights around November, December. We have some things going on. Why don't we wait until next year, build it up, act like the fight's not happening, make people even more anticipated. So when they do fight next year, it's even bigger, right? You can look at it from that perspective too. Or the third option, you can look at it from a very negative perspective, and I don't blame you, because you can be exhausted at this point of the idea of this fight happening, is this fight's never going to happen. We will continue to be in this position. We will continue to be told this. We will continue to be told that. They're going to steadily drag us along when at the end of the day, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford is going to be out of their prime in the next year or so. Why should we care? So there's three different ways you can look at it. There's three different perspectives. I'm probably missing one if so, but either way, I understand each and every avenue. Let's hope that some of these reaction videos, let's hope that some of the things that Terence Crawford said in his interview, I think it's coming from Fight Hub first, and then he has some things that he's talking about in Fight Hype. We're definitely going to be checking out Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's back and forth on Twitter, see if we can get a little bit of better understanding what's going on there. Oscar De La Hoya has some choice words for the whole entire situation, seemingly siding with Terence Crawford. And we're going to be checking out what Eddie Hearn, good old Eddie Hearn, back in the day, 3 years ago when I was doing this thing, I used to call him promoter of the year. Now I'm an old man and things change. We're going to be seeing what Eddie Hearn has to say, because Eddie Hearn was actually pretty vocal previously to the interview Terence Crawford did, saying Terence Crawford dropped the bag. Remember, we watched that. We watched that where Eddie Hearn said basically, well, he was very careful. He was very promoter-esque with the way he talked about this situation the first time. He basically didn't really say anyone was lesser than the other, but he definitely, made it pretty clear that Terence Crawford may be punching a little bit above his weight when it comes to the money he's asking. So I'm going to be interested to see if he backtracks at all when it comes to now after the Terence Crawford interview. I'm assuming Terence Crawford said some very potent things, because there's a lot of shit coming from this. So I can't wait to watch this in its entirety. I can't wait to digest this. I can't wait to do my own analysis. That's what's up next. We're going to get into it. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up. I've talked enough. You know what I'm saying? I did my little intro. We 16, 17 minutes in. Y'all didn't come here tonight just to hear me talk. Y'all came to also check out some of these videos when it came to what Terence Crawford said, Errol Spence, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, all that. So we're going to get into all that goodness. By the way, remember, y'all, later in the stream, man, when the time is right, I'm going to drop that link, man, so y'all can come up here and y'all can talk y'all shit too, so we can have a good time as always, man. And then once again, happy Thursday, man. I remember when I was a young gun back in the high school days. Me and my guy at the time, you know what I'm saying, my dog, we was wild boys, man, wild boys. We'd have some crazy weekends. But we was so goddamn, you know what I'm saying, bad. Niggas would be like, yo, Thursday's the weekend. Like today, we would say Thursday's Friday. We'd be like, Thursday's Friday. So we would kind of treat it like a Friday, but not be too bad. You know what I'm saying? Be cool. But then when Friday came out, we'd be like, fuck school. We'd be at school, but we don't care. I mean, it is Friday. We off. So that's how I kind of treat it now. You know what I'm saying? Thursday's Friday. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Good time. I had that type of mindset. But salute to the people. Once again, too, guys. Y'all look out for tomorrow. I'm gonna be dropping the debate that happened Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember the specific date. It was a good time, so make sure y'all check that out when I drop it. It's either gonna be late tonight, or it's gonna be tomorrow early morning. It depends on how long it's gonna take for the video to process, which is processing right now. So yeah, salute to the people. Much love to everybody, man. Appreciate everybody who has absolutely been supporting the channel. You know what I'm saying? It's been nothing but love. Y'all already know what we on, man. 5K before the end of the year. And if we don't get there, I promise you we're gonna be there soon. And then also too, man, don't think I forgot, man. Black Friday is coming up soon. So I got some upgrades coming on with the equipment, with the look, all that type stuff. So don't think I was just talking my shit when it came to that. No type of way at all, not even close, man. We got a lot of things coming for the channel, man. A lot of ideas and things like that. So all right, let me get this video up for y'all, man. I'm talking too much. So this will be coming via Fight Hub TV. This is a day ago. It's a pretty long video. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly everything he says. It's about 33 minutes. You guys already know sometimes what some of these YouTube channels will do, they'll have like a shortened interview, and then they'll like have that interview going for like maybe like 5 minutes. And then what they'll do is, put old shit. So I'm really hoping that's not the case when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? I see 21 minutes here, so I'm hoping it's a 21-minute interview, because if that's the case, I know for a fact he's going to be dropping a whole lot of gems. He's going to be saying a lot of things that, a lot of people probably ain't heard yet, or maybe people have heard. Either way, I know I haven't heard it. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to be talking about. So let's see if Terence Crawford truly exposes Errol Spence, or at the very least tells us something that we have no idea about. Okay. All right, so here we are. I'm gonna step away for like 1 minute as we start this bad boy up. Let me give y'all full screen right here. Let me make sure everything sounds good. Bang, 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 y'all. I'm selfish, y'all. RPP and B. Still be, man. RPP and B rock, man. You already know what it is. All right, y'all. So y'all see it right here.
About to get into it.
I can already tell, man. Terrence's demeanor, man. He looked like he finna drop some bombs, man. Real quick. Sometimes Twitch be having, I be having the weirdest comments. Like yesterday, we had someone coming to Twitch, said shout somebody out because he was having a bad day. Then I have Kansas Cheyenne in here saying, "Hey bestie." I have no idea who this is, but salute to you dropping in on the Twitch. By the way, anybody who knows what the Twitch is, Fluenceboxing. I'm gonna be doing some things with the Twitch as well. You know what I'm saying, to make sure y'all have a good more experience, because all I do is live streams on the Twitch. I haven't dropped any videos, like any content. I'm gonna start doing that as well. So y'all show love. Go to Twitch, Fluenceboxing. Y'all see, you know what I'm saying, Kansas Cheyenne showing love. I don't know who she is, but she called me bestie, so we must be good friends or some shit. But anyways, let me get this started. I'm gonna step away for like 1 minute, then we'll come back. We're gonna break this down. I can't wait. You already know what it is, man. Fluence all day, baby. Terence, like, let's go, man. Ask the questions. What's up? Let me just look into the camera. I'm assuming this is a live stream that was recorded and took down. It doesn't look like it's an interview or anything like that. It looks like it was just a live stream that was taken and, you know what I'm saying, reposted for the most part.
About to get into it.
Yeah, it is. All right, so he about to get into it. I'm here for it. You feel me? Yeah, salute to you, Kansas. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? If I'm your new bestie, I'm with it. Salute. Enjoy the content. Hopefully, you on the boxing side of the game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna stop interrupting my man Terence. So this is a live stream. This isn't an interview.
Listen, y'all.
So this is gonna be a straight stream of consciousness from Terence. Let's get it.
I started talking to
and I may rewind it when I come back if I'm going too long.
Spence, I would say, and Heymon and them about May, right after his fight, just going back and forth. They sending me a proposal with the interest of Spence and Crawford fight. We didn't get a contract until August, and it was just kind of like a regular contract. It wasn't nothing. It was initial proposal. It wasn't even a contract. It was a proposal, and Spence, Crawford, the intentions of us fighting. Okay, so we going on the basically the negotiations of what a contract would look like before we actually got the actual contract. Al goes in to saying a guy that I don't know, never represented me, not affiliated with Team Crawford, have no whatsoever place in Team Crawford's, stable, representing me in a contract which I have no nothing upon that I agreed to. So basically, that was a standpoint of what the contract would look like. So basically, I'm talking to Al, and I'm like, Al, come on, man, I don't even know this guy. How can you do that? And he's like, well, the guy stated he's a part of your team and whatnot. And, we going back and forth. I was a good dude, man. I was a, charming guy. He's a cool dude.
Can I say this real quick? And I'm gonna let it keep running. And y'all, if also too, let me know if you guys can hear it. Also too, don't let me interrupt too much if y'all want to hear it straight through. But I gotta give real quick points that I'm pointing out, and I want you guys to keep in mind. Terence Crawford in his entire, he's 34, 35 years old now, in his entire career, pro boxing. When have you ever seen him felt the need to go live for 21 minutes to explain a contract situation? Terence Crawford is the same guy who re-signed with Bob Errol multiple times during a time where, and still the LBC community is still very strong. where it was looked at as almost like you were turning your back against your own race if you signed with Bob Brown. And he did it multiple times because of the money. And I don't blame him. I'm all with him. Be your own man. Don't be a follower. And he never once went live and said, "Let me explain to y'all why y'all so mad at me." This, that. He never, as many times as people said he's overrated, as many times people said Spence is much better. Many times they said he's ducked, even with him filing the lawsuit. When has he ever felt the need to go live and explain it? He's never been this type of dude. So that's one that's interesting. So that makes me think, first and foremost, I need to listen, because most likely this is a stream of consciousness from him where he's just telling you his side of the story. So that's interesting to me. So Terence Crawford, in my opinion, has been misrepresented in boxing media and media period for the entirety of his career. This is the first time he felt like he needed to correct something. So keep that in mind. Also, Al Heymon, that's a dirty trick. That's a dirty tactic to bring somebody into negotiation with somebody already there saying he's representing you. I thought he was part of your team. If you guys know anything about negotiation, if you know anything about contracts being involved, that is a clear setup in the sense of he's trying to see how naive you are. He knows Terence Crawford is representing himself for the most part, has his team. He's seeing how naive you are with the business, because the thing is, Terence Crawford's seasoned, so he's not going to go with that. A young guy might go for that. He might come in. He'd be like, "Yeah, doesn't this guy represent you right here?" He's like, "Well, I never seen him before." And then the dude's going to start talking slick. "Yeah, I do represent you, etc." Put you in a situation, back you up against the wall where he's telling you a good contract is good, doesn't have to read it through. I already read it through for you. Everything's good. Get you to sign the dotted line. You end up finding out this is a guy that may not be he's not associated with Al Heymon, but they know each other. They play golf together, right? Now you're young. You think you got a good contract. You sign with this particular, person who Al thought represented you, and now you're part of the team. Like, that's that's almost disrespectful to Terence Crawford to even try that on him. Like, he wouldn't pick that up. But anyways, sorry, guys. I ranted a little bit there.
I kind of like talking to him, but at the same time, Spence is our guy. I'm not. So of course he's gonna do what's best for, his fighter, his guy. That's like, any other manager / advisor would do. He would do the best for his fighter. So, me and Al, we talks on the phone, I get advice from other guys in PBC. They tell me, be careful, make sure the deal is right. They tell me, make sure you don't get fucked. Just normal things from guys that's in they stable that I'm friends with. I honestly can say I'm friends with. So, we going on and on.
I didn't know Terence Crawford had a sense of humor like that.
Of course, me and Al, we going back and forth about, the numbers. We're not going back and forth about anything else. We just going back and forth about the numbers.
Okay.
All in all, I have two companies, that reach out to me that, wanted to give me and Spence $25 million guaranteed. $25 million guaranteed up front. So a real guy like myself,
think he capping?
I call Spence.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
Yo, look, listen, you know what I mean? I got this company that's willing to give us $25 million a piece, guaranteed. What's up? What you gonna do? He like, 25 million, what about the back end? I'm like, dude, listen, if they make their money back, then we get 80-20. You know what I mean? It's simple math. I said, man, we got people all still in the fight. They got the fire sticks. He laughed. He like, man, I got a fire stick too. I'm like, see? I'm like, man, ain't nobody really buying, pay-per-views no more. I said, man, we get this upfront money and we good. It's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
25 mil up front is crazy.
Me and the difference, I would say
up front is crazy.
Between me and the difference between Spence is I'm really my own boss now, and he's not. He got to go through Al. He got to go through, his team and ask them if he can do certain things that I don't have to no more. Yeah, I might have had to when I was with Top Rank because I was signed to Top Rank and they was my promotional company. So of course I had to, go to Top Rank and ask them to get me this fight or do this for me or do that for me, because I was obligated to do certain things by their standard because I was signed to them.
Thanks.
But now that I'm a free agent and I'm free to do whatever I want, I'm the one sitting at the table. I'm the one that's talking directly to these high individuals. Errol Spence not talking to, Terence Crawford about the fight. Errol Spence wasn't at the table. Errol Spence can't tell you or show you a contract that, says Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, that he was there on the negotiations of. He can't do it.
So real quick, I want to say I almost answered my own question. Well, I'm going to answer my own question when earlier I was saying, well, this entire time you never heard, ever Terence Crawford had to try to explain himself, or in the sense of say, this is what the case is, or y'all misrepresented me. He's never had to do that. So I'm like, with that being the case, why is he doing that now? So we gotta listen. And so there's the answer. He's like, yo, I'm my own promoter now. No one else is going to talk for me. Nobody else is going to say anything. So now I have to be the one who's going to speak up because there's no one else who's going to. I'm my own promoter, so I'm going to have to tell you what the case is. I'm going to have to market myself. I'm going to have to put myself out there in a way I didn't before. And when you really look at the situation where Terence Crawford is right now, it's almost like it's a great time to do it. It's almost the perfect time to do it. And as long as he does it the right way, it's only going to make the Terence Crawford Errol Spence fight that much bigger. They're going to make that much more money. And I remember in that debate, I think it was Tuesday or Monday, Dub, I agree with something that I take back, where I said this was not going to increase. It might have been actually R West, but this is not going to increase his value. It will. Because at the end of the day, we all know the biggest fight for Errol is Terence. And everyone's going to turn around and say, well, the biggest fight for Terence is Errol. Maybe. But in Terence's eyes, if you want to talk about money, that may not be the biggest payday. Shit. Think about if he decides to move up to 154. He got a plethora of options. He can fight Rosario. Terence Crawford versus Lubin. I know that's PBC. Him versus Charlo. Andrade. Too big, but I'm just saying, man, there's just all types of different options Terence Crawford can utilize, with him now being his own boss. And so that's just answering the question I had before.
So he had to go back and ask Al for permission, if he can, take this big chunk of lump sum of money to fight Terence Crawford, which he didn't call me back. So I proposed it to Al. I hit up Al. I'm like, Al, listen, man, I got this big hedge fund company out here. They claim they know you. Not one, but two. Not one, but two. Two companies willing to put 20 plus million in both of our pocket, guaranteed. Al told me straight up, I'm not letting nobody touch this fight. Like, all right, cool. But I'm like, why? He like, why would you want to put a ceiling on yourself? Why you want to put a cap on yourself? I'm like, well, that's not putting a cap on myself if this company is taking a risk. And, risk, high risk, high reward. If that's the case, I can't see.
Man, Al Heymon is a smooth dude, man. One that got a lot of money, man. That's an amazing. I can only imagine what the room was like with Terence being the one representing himself for the first time, talking to someone like Al Heymon who's done his whole life. Like, that's almost like Al Heymon being like, hey, yo, Terence, let's go. Let's get in the boxing match. Let's fight. That's for real. You got to look at it that way. Al Heyman's done this his whole life. That's such a that was such an amazing response to that when he came to him with that idea. When Terence Crawford said, hey, we got somebody willing to put this up front, $25 million. Al Heymon said to him, why would you want to put a ceiling on yourself? So he's playing mind games with Terence Crawford. He's saying, you don't think you can make more than 25 mil here? We're giving you, like you said, you don't want a guaranteed purse. We're giving you, I forgot what was the percentage, giving you 30% of everything we earn. So you don't think that we ain't gonna earn enough where you can get more than 25 mil? Boy, that's cold. Give it to you, Al. That's cold right there. What do you even say back to that? You doubting yourself, Terence? You undefeated. You the best boxer in the world. I understand that right there. That's a good move.
See a fight that's been doing millions,
That's why I got money.
Floyd and them. So that was an altercation. I asked Al. I said, since this fight is dragging on with me and Spence, and we can't get things together, why don't I come out and meet you with my lawyer, and we just wrap it up, just me and you and my lawyer. Al said, his mother was, not doing too well, and I honored that and I respect that. Family first. I'm a family oriented type of guy, so I know what it is, to put your family first. So I'm cool with that. But then again, as negotiations still drag on, and I had stated that I wanted to fight in this year, I asked Al again because we seemed like we wasn't getting nowhere. So I asked Al. I said, Al, listen, why don't you get Spence and you, since you his representative, and I'll get myself and my lawyer, and we just make this fight. Anything we gotta do, we can do it right there and sign, seal, deliver. And Al told me straight up, that ain't never happened in the history of ever, where two fighters sit down at the table and they come to an agreement and they get a fight made like that. Not even Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. So I'm like, okay, well, it's the first time for everything. I never heard of a fighter ever taking zero guarantee in a fight.
Y'all gonna have to see the ads. I'm gonna let that roll through real quick. That's interesting to me, man. So Terence Crawford is basically alluding to the fact that he was pressing to try to, let's go ahead, sit down, whatever needs to be made. Yes, I did present to you. I got these two hedge funds willing to, give us 25 million guaranteed up front. Al Heymon came back with a beautiful line. And, anybody in sales take notes from this. And he said, why would you put a ceiling, to what you can do? He's telling somebody who believes in himself to the utmost where he got to the point where he's at now. How you not gonna believe in yourself now when it comes to making money? Don't put a cap to your ceiling. Why are you worried about upfront money? Shouldn't you worry about the back end? Because if you believe you can do the numbers, the back end will be better. That was you got to respect that. But at the same time, off that, I think, from what it seems like, Terence Crawford actually listened and he was like, all right, well, let's do whatever we can to make this fight. And as of now, it seems as if he's alluding to, on multiple occasions, 2 to 3 times, he's tried to say, let's sit down, let's make this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? What do we got to do? At one point, he was like, let's even have Errol Spence in the same room with us. Let's make it happen. And Al Heymon said, in the history of boxing, that's never, happened ever. 2 boxers in the same, all that good stuff. So it seems as if Terence is like, yo, I was trying to make this fight happen, but they kept blowing me off. They kept on, putting me off. Like, nah, not right now, not right now. That's what he's making it seem as we go on longer into this reaction, explanation, whatever you want to call it, it seems as if he's alluding to the fact that, yes, I did push back. I was always trying to get a certain amount of money. This was the case, all this good stuff. But at the end of the day, I tried to really sit down to get this done. And at the end of the day, Al Heymon kept blowing me off. That's how it's coming off. That's what it seems he's saying. So let's see.
I never heard of a fighter of a 4-rounder taking 0% of a guarantee. That is something that's new to me, but that's something that I was willing to do to make this fight happen. You know, a lot of people, you know, they say, "Oh, well, Terrence, you ducked," or "Terrence, you did this and you didn't want to fight Spence." I'm the only one that was taking all the risks. You know, I told him, "All right, cool. I take no guarantee. I take, you know, what I mean, the less end of the money. You know, whatever it is you want, I take it because that's how much confidence I got that I'm gonna beat that man. That's how much confidence I got. I'm gonna beat that man." So, you know, even though I know I was getting fucked in the long run, I just, you know, wanted a little transparency. I said, okay, if I'm gonna bet on myself and I'm gonna go against all the odds, then I wanna, you know what I mean, a little transparency. Of course, you know, I wanna be able to write off on, you know, things that's gonna affect my check. Of course, I wanna see if the numbers add up to what they telling me. You're not gonna go in. It's just simple to me to think.
By the way, anybody who kind of you can read between the lines, you got to be he has to be careful what he's saying, because you don't want to put too much out there, you know, taxes purposes. But I understand what he's saying. He's like, look, basically, I'm not getting no guarantee money. All this is me just having a percentage. I need to look at the numbers and make sure everything's right. Because when I do my taxes, I want to make sure I'm on point. Like, don't hide stuff from me. Like, I need to know what the case is. I need to make sure everything like you wouldn't want it if it was opposite reverse role and I was going in business with you or you were going to business with me. Why would you want me to hide anything from you? You want to see everything. You want to make sure everything looks right. So on your end, when you are filing shit right, you're able to, you know what I'm saying, do what you gotta do. There's no problems. I understand what he's saying. But this is where a lot of times, you know, Dub came at me our way. It's like he didn't agree to all the terms because of this.
That
And that's where I think, you know what I'm saying, we get a lot of times confused with boxing and business. Because if a lot of these guys are their own promoters, like how do we not criticize Floyd Mayweather? A lot of us, but then we're gonna criticize Terence Crawford. We confuse boxing with business because when the boxers become business, we still want to look at them as just boxers. That's why Terence Crawford started this whole entire video the way he started it. I am my own boss now. So that's how he has to look at things and move and operate. He can't just accept whatever like before. He doesn't have anybody checking his books. He's checking them.
a person will go in a business with a person 50-50, and this person would tell them, well, you got to give me 50% down and I give you 50%. And then you say, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you how much we really made, but I'm going to just give you this. You just got to trust me.
That's crazy.
Come on now.
Ain't nobody doing that, bro.
Sense. I never was offered a guarantee, not once. I never, you know what I mean, was given anything. But here, you want this fight? We gonna fuck you, and then you know what I mean. You got what you want. But you know that's how much confidence and faith I have in myself. You know, I took it all. I took it all. I took the risk. You know, big risk, big reward. That's how I look at it, and I believe in my abilities, and I believe in myself. So I'm like, it's whatever. You know, Errol Spence, he can't say the same. He can't say the same. You know, he on audio saying Al Heyman gonna make sure he's good. He's in the best position to win this fight. Of course he is. He supposed to. You know, you got everything surrounding you to help you. You know, so people mad at me because Al told me if I don't take this fight, he's just gonna go and Errol Spence gonna make 8 million, eight figures. He's gonna make 8 figures without me. So basically, he's telling me, well, you take this fight or leave it, or you got nothing. Basically, because we've been dragging and dragging and dragging.
That's crazy. I called that. I said that in the debate, man. Don't worry, I'm gonna have that posted. It's gonna be posted either late tonight or in the morning. I said that. I was like, I knew Al Heyman because it's a very strategic sales tactic, and I'm not nowhere on the level of Al Heyman. He's a multi-millionaire, salute. But it was all strategic. He planted in Terence Crawford's head from the beginning. I know you have other people offering you a lot of money, but I'm giving you an opportunity to be your own boss in the sense of, why do you want guaranteed money when you can just believe in yourself and make more money by being a part of everything that is bringing in a revenue? I think you got like 30%. Who cares if you have these hedge funds that's going to give you 25 million up front, but you don't know if you can make anything on the back end? For this, you ain't going to get nothing up front, but everything on the back end, 30%, 40% of it is yours. So Terence Crawford's like, okay, I'm willing to do that. And so Terence Crawford, over time, he was trying to make the fight happen. He's trying to make the fight happen. I actually believe this because, and a lot of you guys probably won't because you're not in the field I am, but I understand this tactic. It's a very beautiful negotiation tactic that Al Heymon is doing, man. You know, Terence Crawford is like, I'm like, come on, I want the fight. So he's making Terence Crawford now. Before, Terence Crawford wasn't even reaching out to Al Heymon. Now Terence Crawford is calling Al Heyman's phone like, yo, let's sit down. And this is probably my point of view. You guys can disagree, but like, yo, let's sit down. You know, with Errol, with you, let's get this fight done. And I was like, man, that's never happened before. You never had two fighters in the same room and make a fight happen. Who knows if that's true or not? But damn, that's a beautiful statement, because you're like, okay, if that's the case, well, then what do we got to do? Like he's putting Terence Crawford. Like I said, man, this is no disrespect to Terence Crawford, because it's like, to me, there's a reason why people are in certain fields for a certain amount of time. This is like Al Heymon saying, yo, Terence Crawford, let's get in the boxing ring. Let's go, 8 rounds. No headgear. You know what I'm saying? 12-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves, 8-ounce, whatever the case may be. Let's go. Al Heymon will get whooped. I'm like, now you have Terence Crawford in the same room. It's a negotiation test. So Al Heymon is just throwing it off. Because what he wants him to do, he wants to put himself in a position. He's backing him in a corner where he's like, what other choice do you have than taking this fight, Terence? You ain't fighting 4 or 5 months. Who are you going to fight that's going to please the people? And regardless if, regardless if you do say, oh, this wasn't my fault. He kept dragging it. No one's going to care. At the end of the day, they're going to see it as this fight is long overdue, and another 6 months make it even worse. Al Heyman's a genius. Beautiful, very strategic. And so he backed him into a corner. And Terence was like, either I got to just take this, and this is the case that may be, or I can take a chance and I can go over to BLK Prime.
So when, I don't know, like the type of caliber of people that he been dealing with or they been dealing with, but I'm not the type of guy to just sit on my ass and sit on my hands for no man to feed my family. So you mad at me for taking a fight with a tough opponent? You may not know him, but he's a tough opponent for a bigger purse, a guarantee that I wasn't even gonna get. You crazy in the head. You crazy in the head. So now here we go. Back to square, one. Like, what do you really expect? You expect me to be disrespected, ran over, stepped on, and just sit there and just take it? That's crazy. That ain't even my style. See, me personally, I wasn't even.
Did I just not say Al Heyman's tactic was to put him, look, the way Terence is talking, he feels it's like he's defensive. He's like, you tried to back me, you tried to put me into a box, you tried to put me in a situation where I had no choice but to go with you, and you think that's it. This is all part of Al Heyman. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to give away too much.
Won't say nothing because I'm not the talkative type, and y'all pretty much know that. But sometimes, you got.
I almost wish either one or two things. This would have stopped about the 10-minute mark, or he wouldn't have done it. But a lot of people won't catch a lot of things. And this is coming from a guy who is a Terence Crawford fan. I'm Terence Crawford above anything. But I clearly see that This isn't either one of their faults. This comes back to what I was talking about in the beginning of this entire video or live, whatever. This always, at the end of the day, comes down to the entities that are above the fighters. Yes, Terence Crawford promotes his own self, but now that he does, he's in these negotiations with someone like Al Heymon, who's been doing it his entire life. And so even though Terence Crawford feels like, why isn't this fight being made? I want it. He doesn't understand, maybe, or I won't say that's disrespectful, but there's just, there's a disconnect of what needs to be done for it to happen. So I don't think it's either one of their faults. I don't think it's Crawford's. I don't think it's Errol's, even though Terence represents himself. But I think it's Al Heymon being very smart, and he's making the most out of what he has because he understands there's only one, maybe two fights maximum when it comes to this fight. So he's squeezing as much out of the lemon, as much out of the orange, getting as much juice out of that as he can. That's what I think is happening. It's a tactic. Don't be mad, y'all. It's part of the game. The fight's gonna happen, but at the right time. This is beautiful promotion. Al Heymon has Terence Crawford doing a 21-minute live, and I just watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it. Well, not yet, but I'm about to be all the way through. But I enjoyed it. Terence Crawford does not do this. This is great.
You gotta say
most promotion I've seen Terence Crawford do for
these
fights.
What's on your mind, and you gotta stop letting these people just do what they want with you. A lot of people say, "Well, did he ask to see Bob Arum's books? Did he ask for transparency with Bob Arum?"
That's a dumb question.
No, I didn't. You know why?
Because
a lot of y'all probably don't even know why.
That's stupid.
When I was signed to Bob Arum.
Exactly.
I wasn't my own boss.
It's laid out in the contract.
I was given a guarantee on every single fight
Bam.
that I fought for Bob Arum in Top Rank. That's the difference. That's the difference, you guys. So if you guys can't understand that, then
of course they can't.
I don't know what to tell you.
Terrence, you know that.
I don't know what to
That's
tell
not
you.
part of they watch boxing for the entertainment, not for the business.
This year, and that was my thing. I wanted to fight this year. So we going back and forth, numbers, boom, 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 boom. So the transparency part, that was the dragger. Where was Errol Spence at? I didn't hear Errol Spence. Where was the tweets? I didn't hear the tweets. I didn't see the tweets. Where was this guy at? He was under a rock. If you're a real one, like you say you is, like the truth, you'll come out and tell the truth. You tell the truth, buddy. Come on, man. I called you and told you, listen, got this bread on the table, man. What is you doing? What is you doing? You're not your own boss, my dude. So stop saying that you your own boss. Stop saying that you the truth and you this and you that, but you got to answer to a lot of people, my dude. You got to answer to a lot of people, and I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They got you to where you is now. But, I don't know. I'm just saying. But like, when you look at it, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, why you didn't fight Boots or why you didn't fight Ortiz?" Well, them names that never came up. I would have fought them names in a heartbeat. Come on.
What was that?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let that ad run through right though. Got like 3 minutes left of this. Then I'm gonna move on to we're gonna get an Errol Spence response. I actually got a couple articles on the Errol Spence side of the game, but I also got some videos too and some tweets. They're all gonna be interconnected, but sometimes I like to be on the article side of the game. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be pulling that up as well. But let's go ahead and let's get through the rest of this Terence Crawford reaction. By the way, we getting close to that time, y'all. See, that's why I love sometimes going live on the early side of the game. I be hating going late because when I go late, I can't go live as long. When I go a little bit earlier, man, I'm like, it's only 10:43. I'm feeling good. We chilling. It's Thursday. So we got a good amount of time left. So usually by now I would have dropped the link. So if y'all wanted to join, y'all can join. But I'm going to delay it just a little bit because, you know what I'm saying, the Terence Crawford response took a little bit longer to get through, but it's all good. We got a lot of stuff to get through. We got the Errol Spence response. I want to check out what Eddie Hearn had to say about this. Oscar De La Hoya apparently is siding with Terence Crawford. Whole lot of stuff we got to get through tonight, but I will be dropping the link soon. If y'all want to join, y'all can join. Y'all can talk your shit. Real quick, we got Gil Moore up in here. Crawford, the best ever. Then Shakir is the future. I agree with you on that. With Crawford's the best ever, but as far as his future, the future is Devin Haney, in my personal opinion. But I respect Shakir. Shakir's a beast. Come on, we got 4 minutes. Let's go.
Who you think I am?
Salute, Gilmore.
Who you think I am? I'm the best fighter in the world. I always fought in my mandatories. I ain't never ducked my mandatories.
That's a fact.
But, you know, yet and still, I hear through the grapevine, Spence is about to fight a guy that he promised and he swore that he wasn't going to fight, which is Keith Thurman. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what's floating around.
Yep.
So
what that
what's
mean?
up with the trueness with that? You swear up and down that you're not gonna fight this guy. You don't care what nobody say. Now you about to fight him. So that means you was lying, buddy. But you know why he gotta fight Thurman? You want to know why, fans? Because of the money.
Yep.
It's all about the money. Come on now.
Al Heyman's playing the mind game. Like I said, Al Heyman's being a puppeteer right now, man.
Fighting Ortiz or Boots. Come on, man. It's obvious. Who's Spence gonna fight besides me? That's gonna make, you know,
enough where everybody's interested. Unless he moves up to 154, that would be his only other option.
But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I don't know how truthful it is, but you know, Floyd say, you know, he's the spokesman of PBC and he's our right-hand man. We done heard that on numerous occasions. And Floyd came out and said that the fight wasn't happening in this year. So y'all mad at me for going to get a bag? When did that ever happen? Y'all mad at me for going to get a bag?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. We're going to turn up with BLK time. You know what I mean? We're going to do our thing, man. We stepping up to the plate, man. They turning boxing around, man. All the biggest fights, you know what I mean, going through them. You know, they the new wave, you know? Hey, giving these fighters, you know what I mean, they just do. You want to fight this guy, they're going to make it happen. It's simple, you know? But, hey, my intentions is still the same. After this fight, Spence, you know what I mean, successful. I'm successful. He said he gonna spin the block. Can let him spin the block so I can drop him off where he's standing. And that's just how I'm gonna keep it. It's just that simple. He spin the block. We're gonna be ready for whatever. And y'all fans, y'all can, you know what I mean, chop it up and edit it and put it however y'all want.
All right, y'all. There we go. 58 minutes in. That was the response, or excuse me, that was the, I guess you could call it a response to all of the speculation, all of the misconception, all of the opinions, perspectives, ideas that came down to, you know what I'm saying, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence not happening, even though it was projected to happen this year. At least from Terence Crawford's side. Obviously, there's many different ways you can look at this situation because there's many different opinions. And it just all kind of depends on who you side with and who you go with. I just will say this once again, and I will reiterate this a multitude of times. It's very interesting to see now Terence Crawford taking the role of promoting himself because he is talking more out there. Like this was 21 minutes. You see, we're an hour in. And I thought that 21 minutes not only revealed a lot about Terence Crawford, but revealed a lot about the situation. Because if you're smart enough, you'll be able to understand it. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to look at in between the lines of what was said here, rather than always look at it in a situation where I'm just watching a fighter that I like, or I'm watching a fighter I don't. Like I said, I was very impressed by the information that Terence Crawford gave us, in the sense of Al Heymon he's a wizard. He is exceptional when it comes to negotiation. He's controlling this whole entire situation right now. He knew this fight wasn't going to be as big as it was in November of 2022 as it would be maybe in the summer of 2023. I don't play poker, right? But I play dominoes. Daddy taught me. You don't show your hand in dominoes, right? Terence Crawford showed his hand. He said it himself. He came right up front. First went to Errol Spence, which is you're not supposed to do, because Errol Spence has no say because he signed a promoter, and Terence knows this. He's just kind of doing that as a flex, like, yo, Errol, look, we got somebody, two hedge funds give us 25 mil up front. He know Errol can't do nothing. He got to go to, so I went to Al Heymon. So you go to Al Heymon and you showed your hand. You playing dominoes, you got the dominoes behind your hand, and you showed your hand, Terence. You said, hey, look, knowing damn well, like that doesn't, I wasn't a fan of that, because he definitely showed his hand. And then from there on, Al Heymon took control. Because from there on, you see, he changed the whole entire wave. He was like, yo, Terence, that's cool and all, but I know you're not getting no guaranteed money, but I'm giving you 30-40% of all revenue that's going to be made off of this, off of everything. You're telling me that you don't believe in yourself? You don't have you telling me you're putting a ceiling, a cap on what you and Errol can do? You don't think you can make more off of that if I'm giving you 30% of all revenue? Of everything. Pay-per-view included? And then now, since Terence showed his hand in the beginning, Terence is like, yo, let's make the fight. And that's what Al wanted. Al Heymon was like, I need you to want this fight just as much as Errol Spence thinks he needs it. Because now what can Al Heymon do? Like Terence Crawford said, drag it along and be like, you already showed your hand. I know you have a fight that you can make a lot of money off of. Let's make this fight a little bigger. Let's get Errol Spence in the ring with Keith Thurman. The reason why he's going to do that is because it's going to make him fighting Keith Thurman and beating Keith Thurman. If that happens, it's going to make Errol Spence be able to look like a bigger A side while you're fighting David Avisan, even though you're making that money. Al Heymon is a genius. That's why that brother makes a lot of bread. This fight will happen, though. You guys don't have to be worried about that, though. Stop fronting. But all right, that was, I'm not mad at that response at all. We got a lot of videos that we're going to get through tonight. A whole lot of videos. But real quick, before I do the De La Hoya one, I want to do this article right here. I'm not going to read too much to it because there are some videos that are going to say a lot of things, show a lot of things when it comes to this particular article. So I don't want to give too much away before we watch it. But I want to read this article right here, man. By the way, happy Thursday, everybody. Hopefully y'all having a good time. Weekend's coming up, you know? I'm chilling. I'm feeling good. I'm doing my thing. Not yet am I going to drop the link, but I will drop the link soon. I promise y'all. I promise. Y'all probably not even going to join anyways. Y'all ain't commenting on shit. Since y'all ain't commenting, man, at the very least, hit the like button for you, boy. Errol Spence refutes Terence Crawford's claim, says he was offered transparency. So here's the tweets. Here's the tweets. Y'all see these tweets, man. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go through these tweets. We're going to read these tweets. Then we're going to go to the back and forth. So let's get it. Not long after Terence Crawford took to Instagram Live to share his account on why a hotly anticipated fight. That's a weird word to use before anticipated and before a fight. With Errol Spence ended up a dud, Errol Spence reacted to a number of Crawford's claims on his social media account. Spence began immediately calling out Crawford by saying that he was offered the financial transparency that he so badly wanted, saying his side agreed to show Crawford everything. Errol Spence said he claims that his concerns. Y'all see that? Yeah, I can see that. Well, here I got you. Let me do a little better for you. Oh, well. Let me see what I went up. There we go. All right. He claims that his concerns over having transparency on the revenues and expense for the fight was the big issue that killed the negotiations. Cap. My side agreed to show him everything. I got to think about this though too. Because one thing I do believe is that Al Heyman said, two fighters being in the same room for negotiations, the fight never been made that way. So if Al Heyman is representing him, that means Al Heyman is saying everything he needs to say to Errol. So as much as we can believe this, if the one thing that Terence Crawford established is you're not your own boss. So any information that Errol Spence is being given is given from his team. And he has to believe that for what it is. So Errol Spence can be sitting there. I wasn't in the negotiation room. I don't know what's going on, but they're coming back and they telling me, man, I don't know what Terence Crawford is talking about. We showed him transparency. So it's hard for me to really care about anything Errol Spence is saying when it comes to negotiation, when obviously you're not going to be there in the negotiation room. So that's a very smart tactic from that video from Terence Crawford, because excuse me, y'all, essentially he's basically setting up the idea of, Errol Spence is going to respond to this, but he can't respond in reference to the negotiation because he wasn't there. So Cap, my side, agreed to show him everything. The draft included specific provisions that required that both of us would receive a complete and full written detailed accounting showing all pay-per-view sales of the event, and then the status of all net revenues received and all event expenses incurred and paid. Spence would continue on by daring Crawford to post the draft of the contract if anything he's saying isn't the truth, and openly question where the money that Crawford was offering through a hedge fund was coming from. All money, not good money. I asked him where the 50 mil coming from, who is over the hedge fund putting the money up. He couldn't tell me. I think we all need to just meet in person. He said, I wasn't at the table or nowhere to be found for what I knew what I was projected to get and happy with it. To be honest, that hedge fund deal was your benefit. Spence would then tease that he had alternative plans lined up that will be a much more significant fight than Crawford's announced fight against David Avisan. Facts is, I'm fighting someone else. He is too, but a tune-up. Peep this. He asked for approval over expenses. His company, TBC, to have a chance to review and sign agreements, said yes for the event. Reviewing and approving agreements before they are executed, the choice of which way to proceed is up to TBC. Said yes, next tweet. Crawford wanted to know if revenues from the fight would be placed into a mutually agreeable account, only to be released upon all parties' agreements. My team said yes. Crawford would in turn take some time to respond to several of Spence's tweets where the two would dispute the realities of the failed talks, but we do know for certain that a Spence-Crawford fight is not on the horizon for any time soon, and whoever you want to blame for the fight not happening, it's the boxing fans that lose. That's a lot to take in right there. That's a lot of tweets. That's a lot of tweets come from Errol. That was a long live coming from Terence. I'm not mad at any of it. It's just at this point, who can you believe? What time is it? It's about to hit 11 o'clock on my time, but it's Thursday. So we're gonna have a good time. I won't even lie to you. Whoever comes up in here, man, make sure y'all hit the like button. If you're not part of the family, subscribe to the channel. You already know what it is, but it's about that time. I am. What you think I'm talking about? What y'all think I'm talking about? I'm dropping the link. Look, y'all don't be on no bullshit if y'all want to hop up in here. Y'all got a topic you want to discuss, if you want to add on to the discussion, hit the link, join, be on some good time. But all right. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. So it was very interesting. All of the things that Errol Spence was tweeting, I won't lie to you. It's believable, right? It's grounded. It's specific. It's to the point. Now, with that being said, with that being the case, you still cannot discredit ignore the statement of Terence Crawford saying, hey, Errol Spence was not at the negotiation tables. So at the end of the day, everything that Spence is saying is going off of the word of Al Heymon and going off of the contract presented in front of him. What did I tell you guys? If you guys were here a little bit earlier, not a little bit, probably like 45 minutes earlier, I said, or if you actually, let's not even go off of what I said yet. If you heard from Terence Crawford in the beginning of that interview, if you guys were paying attention, if you were here this long, he said, when I walked on there was someone there that was supposed to be representing me that I didn't even know. So right off the back, Al Heymon was playing mind games with Terence. He doesn't represent you. He said he represents you. I know this guy. Come on, sit down. Come on, look at the contract. So right off the bat, it's a very tactical move. Just because you see it in the contract does not mean that's what it is. Just because what you're presenting, Errol Spence, doesn't mean it's the same thing presented to Terence Crawford or explained the same way. So I'm like, it's never clear cut as, oh, show the contract. That's not how life works. Come on, y'all. You old enough, you should know that. It's never that clear cut. So when I look at this situation, I hear what Errol's saying is a very understandable statement. It's a relatable statement. It's hard to disagree with the statements that he was saying, but if you understand and you respect the fact of what Terence Crawford said, is like, you was not in the negotiation room, so all you know is what was sent to you as far as contract. Also, Errol Spence he's tweeting as if he's in the same position as Terence when he's not. Like, your promoter, the dude representing you is Al Heymon and PBC. Like, Terence Crawford represented himself, so you can't act as if, oh, this was all clear cut. And like, even one of the what was it? He said in the draft included specific provisions that required that both of us would receive a complete and full written detailed accounting showing all pay-per-view sales of the event and then the status of all net revenues received and all event expenses incurred and paid. Terence acknowledged that. Terence said, Al Heymon told me that that's what he would do. But you also know what that translates to, Errol Spence, is I ain't got to show you the books. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to trust me. Like, you telling me just because I'm agreeing to the fact that you're going to show me all the expenses and all that stuff, it's going to be your reports. I don't want your reports. I want this shit previously. I want to be able to track it myself. So I know what you're showing me matches with what I'm showing you. So I'm like, man, so it's like, I hear you, Errol, but I'm like, I'm not stupid. So I'm like, you nah, that's not how that roll. Ain't no way you finna get away with that. Ain't no way you finna tell me as someone who's representing myself, I'll show you the complete and full written detailed accounting showing all pay-per-view sales and the event and the status of all net revenues after the fight's over. Like, no, bro, let me track it myself. You don't have to show me nothing. Earl, you can take that deal because that's your promoter, but if it's me, I don't want that deal. I want to be tracking it while you tracking it. Feel me? That's not full transparency. It's not even close. And a lot of people are not going to understand that. A lot of people are not going to be able to see it that way. A lot of people are going to be confused, blinded, curtain in front of them, and I see that, nigga, Earl, I love you, but you cannot argue anything in reference to the contract with Terence because Terence Crawford is not in your position right now. That's just what it is. Bud rewatched the Ugas beat and ran to a hedge fund. I don't even know how that's funny. I like, why is that a bad thing? He's making money, a whole lot of money. That doesn't even make any sense. He's making a whole lot more than Ugas. Let's see if Errol Spence gets paid that much to fight Keith Thurman, supposedly. I don't understand. Salute to you, though. What's good with it, Jonathan Pedro? But all right, we got some more reactions. Y'all be tripping, man. It's like y'all really don't be understanding, man. Y'all be so worried about the fact that someone doesn't want to fight someone. They fight for a living. At the end of the day, it's about the money. It's about that money. So Eddie Hearn, he had a response to this whole thing that I want to check out. Also, Oscar De La Hoya had something. I think Oscar De La Hoya is the first one I actually want to check about because Errol Spence responded directly to Oscar De La Hoya. So let me see. Do I want to do fight hype? Fight hype be tripping sometimes. Like I fuck with fight hype, but sometimes they be putting too much shit together. Jonathan Pietro said he doing everything to avoid the fight with a little laugh. You blind, bro? I do wear glasses. How this dude to Boston send a person that doesn't represent him to meet with Al Heymon? So we admit we are hour and 15 in, Jonathan. So already kind of explained that. Like Terence Crawford expressed that he did not know the guy, and if you in the line of field that I work with, that's a negotiation tactic. As someone who's Al Heymon, who's been doing something and what he's been in and the position he's been in for as long as he has, and he understands that Terence Crawford is a novice, to throw Terence Crawford off, he'll have someone sit there, may not have any type of work related, nothing, may just be his friend, long lost cousin, whatever, sit there and say, hey, I represent you. He'll throw him off coming in as far as the negotiation tactics. And it's like people don't understand that because people it's a very cliche line. It's a very niche field when it comes to what they do. But I'm like, that's a negotiation tactic. Like, that's not true. He wasn't associated with Terence Crawford because Al Heymon put him in the room to have an upper hand and to already start off the entire discussion where Terence Crawford is defensive. Because a lot of times when it comes to negotiation, the more defensive somebody is, the better result you is. The more someone feels inferior or in a sense of what's going on, it'll make them think more when they're talking about making their own decision. That is a weak boss move. Oh, Jesus Christ. So based off of what you're saying, he wasn't taking no good. It's like you're not listening, man. No, I'm saying, I said this from the beginning, and that's how I know you just dropped up in here. But salute to you, Jonathan. I appreciate all the comments, man. I appreciate the engagement. But no, that's not what I am saying. I'm saying when it comes to Terence Crawford, Al Heymon, Terence Crawford in the same room negotiating, that's like Al Heymon saying, hey, yo, Terence Crawford, hey, yo, let's get in the ring for 5 rounds. Let's see what happens. Terence Crawford is stepping into a setting that he's never stepped into against someone who's done it for so long, and Al Heymon is putting him into traps that he doesn't know he's putting him into traps. So it's going to look this way. It's going to have a lot of people like yourself, Jonathan, no disrespect, but a lot of people are going to look at it and say, well, Terence Crawford, he's ducking all this type of things. But if you understand business and negotiation contracts, these are beautiful ways of maneuvering for Al Heymon to prolong the fight, to not only make Errol Spence look better, make Terence look worse, but also make the fight bigger when it happens next year. Jonathan Pietro said, how Bud fought the same amount of time as Spence dating back to 2018. And Spence had an accident and eye surgery. This man doesn't want to fight. How are you pound for pound and fight once a year? But that I want to really, I'm not really sure what that has to do with the argument of talking about negotiation between this particular fight happening. You know what I'm saying? I like to think I keep things very specific, detailed. I understand, like, I'm not one to root for one and downplay the other. I just like to look at it, this is what it is. You can maybe argue the fact like, okay, I don't agree with him being pound for pound. I don't agree with him being better than Spence. That's fine. I don't disagree with that in any type of way. That's your prerogative. That's how you feel. But if we're going to stay specific and we're going to focus on, you know what I'm saying, the subject at hand, in this particular fight, you have to acknowledge that the negotiation, if we're talking about Terence Crawford doing this for the first time for himself, and he's going to get someone like a beast like Al Heymon, you can't ignore the fact, in my personal opinion, especially since it's been put out there, Al Heymon is doing a perfect job to making this fight not only bigger than what it would have been happening in probably the next couple of weeks, but more people are paying attention. Even the younger crowd are paying attention to this now. A lot of the younger crowd wasn't paying attention to this before. So I think this is being perfectly executed by Al Heymon. That's my personal opinion. Because you said he's a fighter, so he likes to fight. Of course he does, but it's not as simple as fighting. This isn't just a fight. Niggas ain't just going outside saying, let's go get, you know what I'm saying? Let's go, get it popping. So many people are getting paid. So many people are involved. This is business first. Do I got to say the tree again? Do I got to say the totem pole? How it goes? It's revenue, broadcasting rights, promoters, promotional companies, tickets, then the fighters. Money is always going to be the number one option and the number one discerning factor when it comes to everything being made. And it's like we get confused on this because we love the sport so much, and that's not a problem. But it always comes down to money. No, you crazy saying he doesn't want to fight. How? That doesn't even make any sense. How you fight once a year? A lot of fighters fight once a year as they get older. That happens on multiple occasions. As fighters get older, they tend to fight less. Terence Crawford did not always fight once a year. This is just recently. And then also, too, we're talking about coming out of a pandemic, COVID, all these type of different things. That is on, like come on. That is, I don't understand that excuse. More fights equals more money. He doesn't need the money. You know how much money he was getting paid with Bob? You see how much he's about to make with BLK Prime? What's the argument here? We have to, we have to specific. I feel like you're trying to just argue right now, man. Not mad at it. I appreciate the engagement, but I'm like, that don't make no sense. All right, I do want to watch the video too. By the way, I want to do a reaction to Oscar De La Hoya, supposedly going at PBC and Al Heymon and supporting Terence Crawford, seeing what he got to say. I'm gonna cue that up real quick. I used to not like Oscar De La Hoya, but when I watched him in that what was that Triller card when he did the he was supposed to fight, but he didn't fight. He was supposed to fight Evander Holyfield or something. And he ended up being the announcer, and he was just going crazy. I was like, man, Oscar De La Hoya, man, he's a beast. That man drinks like a muff up. That's how it sounds. So much money with Bob, yet he sued. I've already broke that down, Jonathan. See, I got to start making specific videos. See, I got to start doing a YouTube video with the music behind it, editing, so people can understand my knowledge. Because people won't watch these live streams. There's just a free, the stream of consciousness I give to the people when it comes to so much money with Bob, yet he sued. That's because Bob promised him the Errol Spence fight. You have to understand. As you get older, I don't know how older you are, Jonathan, but if you're promised certain things by a company or you agree to certain things for a contract, you have the right to sue if you're not given those things or you don't end up, receiving those things throughout that duration. So there's nothing wrong with that. Supposedly, Bob promised him the Errol Spence fight. It never happened. He said, if I would have had the Errol Spence fight, I would have made this amount of money. He didn't give it to me. He promised it to me, so I'm suing for that amount of money. Who knows if he wins? They'll probably settle. He'll get something. He said he don't need the money. Yet fight got stalled because he wants more money. You straight contradicting yourself. It's like you wasn't listening to anything I was talking about, or at least when it comes to when I was breaking down the interview or the Instagram live coming from Terence Crawford. He clearly said in the beginning, yes, it was all about money. But then after Al Heymon came to him and said, "You want to put a cap on your ceiling?" He said, "Let's make this fight happen." I'm telling you, I've been saying from the beginning, it has nothing to do with Terence Crawford wanting money. It has nothing to do with Errol Spence not wanting to fight. No one's ducking. Al Heymon is just doing a beautiful negotiation tactic where he's just dragging this along to the point where he feels like they can make the most revenue, and then they can also put Terence Crawford in a position. I've been saying this. This has nothing to do with anybody wanting. This fight's not happening because, I'm not getting this amount of money. What? It's like half listening, 50-50. You said he doesn't need the money, which is why he fights once a year. That's not why he fights once a year. I don't know why he fights once a year. And then also, he's only been fighting once a year recently. A lot of that has to do. I already explained that. You're trolling me now. I'll explain. We had COVID. He's getting older, but I'm like, beforehand that he wasn't just fighting once a year. So come on, chill, man. Got me mad distracted. What we finna do right now? Oh man, I didn't want to. We're gonna listen a little bit to some Oscar De La Hoya. He said, "I said that." No, I didn't. He said, So Jonathan's saying, I said he doesn't need the money, which is why he fights once a year. I'm not saying that's the reason why he doesn't fight once a year. That I said, Jonathan, that I said. You said he doesn't need to fight. He doesn't need the money. That's I said. I agree with that. I did say that he doesn't need to fight and he doesn't need the money. It's not about the money. That's like, it's like you're not listening to me, bro. You're not listening to the whole. You're taking like parts and segments of what I'm saying. You're not listening to my whole entire sentence. I'm like, that is not the like what you're trying to reference. You're taking a clip and you're saying, oh, this is what he means. No. He doesn't need to fight. He doesn't need the money. That was his whole point when it comes to this particular. Make me repeat myself. You make me mad, little ball. I'm gonna let it go. You're not letting me move on right now, man. And it's I'm mad though. But yes, I did say that. He doesn't need to fight. He doesn't need the money when it comes to Bud versus Spence. And Bud also said that in his interview, and which is why he was trying to make the fight happen. Al Heymon continued to drag on the negotiations. Al Heymon ended up being the one who said, no, we're not going to have this fight happen. He kept pushing it along. So if he doesn't need to fight and he doesn't need the money, he doesn't want it, which shows how much he actually wants to fight Spence if he's telling Al Heymon he wants to fight. Listen to the entirety of what I'm saying. Ray Charles could see Elmer Fudd ducking Spence. No, I'm like, it's like, listen to the entirety. So if he doesn't need the money, if he doesn't need the fight, and he's still trying to make the fight happen, and Al Heymon is pushing on. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, that's why sales is such a specific job, because a lot of people does not have the mind for it, and they can get manipulated so easy. It's like you do not see the mind games that are being played by Al Heymon. He is pushing this fight along and prolonging it because he understands how much more buildup there is and how much more people will care about it. He does not need to fight when it comes to who I am talking about. When it comes to Terence Crawford, he does not need the money. He does not need to fight. He has BLAK Prime giving him all this money, but he still is willing to take a lower pay cut for it to happen. But Al Heymon saying like, nah, I'm going to push this along. That's my point. Terence Crawford didn't send a fake rep. That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, people don't understand sales. That wasn't Terence Crawford. Al Heymon used that tactic. He put somebody there. He said, hey, isn't this your agent? Don't you know this guy? He said he represents you. That's a sales tactic. That's like a 1970s sales tactic. I know this. Please, y'all, man. I'm trying to put y'all on game. Like, y'all are so confused. Y'all don't know, man. I know. I'm like, that's like Al Heymon was playing Terence. Like, he wanted to. That's how you. If you are negotiating with someone and you can have them walk in the room and they can be uncomfortable or they can question themselves right off the bat, you are in a position of power. You are controlling and dictating the entire situation. I know we're talking boxing, but it just so happens I know about this shit. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. He did not send a fake rep. Terence Crawford had no knowledge of this rep. That's why he said it. That's why I did the whole live. And I'm not, you're not going to keep making me repeat myself. People that really want to fight don't have time for mind games. Yes, they do, because nigga, is money and business before anybody's going to be putting on any gloves and putting on any motherfucking shoes and being in that ring. It comes down to what we negotiate on the contract, what's signed on the paper, what's put down pen paper, what we agree to, and how much bread's going to be spread. Simple as that. They too high level to be talking about we just finna get up in there and fight. Where's your source of this mind game BS? Shaking my head. Nigga, my life. That's what I make money off doing. I'm not making this up. I'm giving y'all a game if you pay attention. Trust me. My life. Right. Anyways, Jonathan got me going crazy. But salute to you. I appreciate you, bro. For real, for real. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's check out what Oscar De La Hoya has to say. It's a beautiful way to follow up my madness with some Oscar De La Hoya, man. I became a big fan of Oscar De La Hoya. I used to not like Oscar De La Hoya, but now I'm a big fan of him. Love him. I'm always in support of anything Oscar De La Hoya says. Let's go.
With Oscar De La Hoya, it's crazy. One Mexican from LA, one Mexican from Montebello here in Abu Dhabi. I know, right? How you feeling ahead of this fight? A fight that a lot of fans are interested in. A lot of people that I've talked to say this is could be a very competitive fight between Zurdo and Bivol.
Yeah, no, it should be. I mean, styles make fights. Obviously, we all know that. Bivol's an excellent fighter, excellent boxer. I love his footwork, in and out, throwing combinations, 2-3 punches. But that's obviously going to work fine and dandy against fighters who are smaller than him, or fighters who just throw one punch at a time. We're talking about Zurdo Ramirez here, who is bigger, who is stronger, who is a southpaw, who throws punches and bunches. It's a different style, a different look for Bivol. I think that's what makes it interesting. I think that's what people are going to be watching out for. Look, when I say Ramirez is no Canelo Alvarez, and what I mean by that is that Ramirez is a guy who has taken the tough road, the long road, 2 eliminators, 2 knockouts. He wants this title opportunity, and he's going to seize the moment on Saturday night.
What have you told Zurdo about approaching this fight against Bivol?
Be yourself. That's it. Be yourself. This is just another fight. That's the way you have to treat it. Do not put any pressure on you. It's just another fight. He's human. He's a world champion. Yes, he has the title, but he's human. You've faced guys 44 times. This is no different. Go out there, fight with your heart, fight smart. You're in condition. Just go out there and do your job. That's it.
If he is the winner on Saturday, Zurdo, how do you guys want to position him? Obviously, there's the Undisputed with Artur Beterbiev that's out there. There's other fights, but I think a lot of fans would want to see him face Canelo Alvarez.
Sure. I mean, everybody would love to see him face Canelo Alvarez, except Canelo Alvarez.
Are you serious about that stuff? He's serious about doesn't want to fight the Mexicans because he feels like he's representing Mexico and it kind of like stepping on another Mexican.
It's to me, it's a cop out. I mean, imagine a Sabache Martinez not giving Julio Cesar Chavez a world title shot because he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. You know, so Canelo fought Chavez, for instance. And let's give the fight fans the best fights that they want to see. Let's give the fight fans what they deserve. Ramirez winning Saturday night will be huge for Mexico, will be huge for his fans, will be huge for his career, and then we'll see from there. But we're willing, as Golden Boy, we're willing to work with anybody. We're willing to work with anybody just to make these fights happen.
Oscar, the Twitter a few hours ago. Just want to just get your thoughts, man. What's in your heart? What's in your mind about everything that happened with Crawford and the stuff that you said on Twitter?
It's about time that the fight fans know what's going on, the truth, the reality. Crawford, kudos to him.
So Oscar De La Hoya is about to speak on Crawford and Errol Spence. I want to address Jonathan over here. Speaking of Oscar, Floyd took it to him on the Golden Boy Promotions. Floyd didn't bring no hedge fund. He beat the cash cows and he became the cash cow. Something Elmer Fudd Duck season 1-0. I remind you, Jonathan, Terence Crawford's about to fight Obvious Song for what, 5-10 million? Confused what you're talking about when it comes to money. Jonathan Piedra said, I don't know where these mind game theories are coming from. That's a new one for me. I thought I heard it all. I'm not necessarily talking excuses. I'm just talking about in the game of business, contracts, sales. If you're not in that particular field, then, but I'm like, everything I'm hearing, like, this is just beautiful negotiation tactics from Al Heymon. This has nothing to do with ducks because if Terence Crawford represents himself, the last thing you want to do is sign a bad contract, right? Or maybe you do. Shit. I just don't think that's the best way to go about it. But I'm going to rewind this just a little bit. Actually, before I rewind this just a little bit, what time is it over here? It's 11:30. We're going an hour and 33 minutes. That means I've been having an absolute good time. I have been. I salute to Jonathan allowing this to be a good time as well. Because you've been see, this is why I prefer, like, I salute, I love Dub Right Side because he be challenging me always. But I appreciate Jonathan because, man, he's pressing everything I'm saying right now, and I appreciate it. That's the good times, man. It's the good old days when people said shit that was true, not what he said, she said, BS, or I know because I know. But you have to understand, though, at the same time, a lot of times when it comes to this situation in boxing, you really aren't ever going to know the truth because we're not in the, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going on. Nothing is as simple, especially nowadays when it comes to contracts, when it comes to money, revenue, internet, pay-per-view, all these different things now being in the case. Nothing's as simple as, oh, this guy wants to fight and this other guy wants to fight, so let's make it happen. It's not that simple no more. At one point, yeah, definitely it was. But now it is definitely not that simple no more. There's promotional companies with beef. There's promoters who don't want to work with each other. There's, you know, certain people that wants to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they're getting a certain type of revenue. Like, it's not as simple as what it was before. Like, we can make it seem like, oh, this person is ducking this person and this person is ducking this person, but it's just, it's like fighters don't, it's not that simple. Niggas is trying to squeeze everything out of the lemon now. They trying to get all the juice. It's like it's like we gotta acknowledge that it's not the same. Maybe for the worse, maybe for the better, whatever the case may be, but we have to acknowledge it's not the same. What's good with it, Zan? Salute, bro. Jonathan said, yeah, you know the truth. I don't know the truth, but I know when I see sales tactics, when I see negotiation tactics, you know what I'm saying, to prolong certain things. Yes, I know that. I'm like, when we're talking about specifics, I'm not talking boxing. I'm not talking about throwing a right hand with a left hook. I'm not talking about skills. I'm talking about Al Heymon using negotiation tactics that are very prevalent in the sales community, and it's something that is always, I won't say always, but if it's done right, it works. And what I'm seeing is Al Heymon is basically the Terence Crawford in his particular field of what he does, because that's what he's been doing for a long time and made millions, billions. You feel me? Terence, like I said, Terence Crawford is great at boxing, but this is his first time putting himself in the presence of negotiations. Al Heymon ain't great at boxing, but he's great at negotiation. That's what he does. So that's when I'm talking, and I don't understand why you can't kind of differentiate the two. Excuse me. Those are not the same things. You're talking about a boxer sitting down at the table with someone who's been doing something their whole entire life. So I understand and I see when Al Heymon is using certain negotiation tactics that are not only beautifully used, but also obviously shows that Terence Crawford, he's being presented things he's never been presented with. But I cannot, but that's me also saying I can't put this fight's not happening because Crawford's scared. Like, come on. Terence Crawford said himself, I just went, the first 58 minutes of this live is me talking about, like, yo, Crawford literally wants, Al Heymon made Terence Crawford be in a position where he's chasing the fight. He's still chasing the fight now. How do y'all not see that? Like, damn, man. Flu deal with the money all day. You know that it's just, I'm like, this has nothing to do with boxing at this point. This is why right here, what we're about to be talking about with Oscar De La Hoya acknowledging what Terence Crawford exposed and put out there is going to be real. So let me play this. I'm going to throw it back a little bit. Pause. Damn, what the fuck? I'm going to rewind it back.
Let's give the fight fans the best fights that they want to see. Let's give the fight fans what they deserve. It's to me, it's a cop out. I mean, imagine a Sabache Martinez not giving Julio Cesar Chavez a world title shot because he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. You know, it's you know, so, you know, Canelo fought Chavez, for instance. And it's, look, let's give the fight fans the best fights that they want to see. Let's give the fight fans what they deserve. Ramirez winning Saturday night will be huge for Mexico, will be huge for his fans, will be huge for his career, and then we'll see from there. But we're willing, as Golden Boy, we're willing to work with anybody. We're willing to work with anybody just to make these fights happen.
Oscar, the Twitter a few hours ago. Just want to, just get your thoughts, man. What's in your heart? What's in your mind about everything that happened with Crawford and the stuff that you said on Twitter?
It's about time that the fight fans know what's going on, the truth, the reality. Crawford, kudos to him, him coming out and exposing the truth. That's what we're dealing with, and I'm fed up with it. And it's about time that the fight fans know what's happening. why these big fights are not taking place. Look,
You hear that?
Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, we did our part, the boxing part. Everything is agreed upon. Executives, TV, they all have to just come to terms. I feel very optimistic that this fight can take place, but
You hear that?
you never know.
So in terms of the network stuff, like what?
I know y'all hear that. I'm gonna play it back real quick. Not right away, but y'all hear that? Specifically, oh wait, we got the laughing face was in. Salute to you, Zen. Specifically with you, Jonathan. You hear that? Crawford said, "quote I don't care about money. Put in the ring. Put me in the ring with him. Fool, put yourself in the ring with him." Okay, yeah. No, I figured you meant to put me. But Jonathan, I'm trying to get you to understand the point of what I'm saying. I'm trying to get you to say it's not as easy as a fighter saying, "Oh, I'm just going to put myself in this position and now everything agrees on terms." Let me ask you this. Let's just say you Terence Crawford, or let's say you Jonathan. Just got done being with a promotion, IBZ. You're in a lawsuit with them right now, but your own man. You can make as much money as you want. The biggest fight in the world, you got to fight Terrell Dog, right? Terrell Dog, like, let's make this happen. You over here like, I want to make this fight happen. I want this amount of money. And Terrell Dog and his promoter's like, nah, you got to agree to this amount of money. And you said, I'm good with it. Let's make it happen. Let's go. Right? But what if the promotion that you're doing a deal with all of a sudden says, oh, you're with all the terms that I told you to agree to? Yeah, okay. I'm going to add a little bit more to those terms. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to negotiation. When you're too willing, you're too vulnerable. So you have to understand when you're representing yourself, you have to be careful. Even though from what Terence Crawford in that live said, he was very open. That's why I think Oscar De La Hoya said, I applaud Terence Crawford for being upfront like that and exposing what's been going on. Crawford is saying and willing to do and agree to all the terms that Al Heymon is willing to put up front. Al Heymon says, I know that. So let's make the fight happen when I want the fight happen because you're willing to sign the paper when I'm ready to make you sign the paper. And it's like people was making that go over. It's like it's going over their head. And that shit is mind-blowing to me. It's like, pay attention. Jonathan said, I'm out, bro. I love and respect, but I respectfully disagree. But Bud ain't got the resume pay-per-view buys and doesn't have the PBC. He has BLAK. Laugh my ass off. He has no room to be making bogus demands. 3 belts versus 1 night, bro. I subscribe though. Now, salute to Jonathan. I appreciate you, man. You had the comment section jumping. No, I love the back and forth. I feel like that makes for a better conversation and all that good stuff when, you know what I'm saying, when you don't necessarily agree. So salute to you, Jonathan, man. Enjoy your night, man. For real. Salute to you. Hopefully your Thursday was amazing, man. Your weekend goes crazy. But salute, man. Appreciate you, bro. Salute to Zen. Hey, salute to everybody. Anybody who come up in here, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, show some love, subscribe to the channel. You feel me? I posted the link if y'all want to hop up in here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some debates. Y'all can go crazy in the comment section, of course. But man, if y'all want to be really up in here, man, y'all hit the link, man. Y'all can hop up in here, talk y'all shit. It ain't nothing. But okay. Salute to Jonathan once again, man. I appreciate him for real, man. Had to jump in for a minute. So, but let's go ahead. Let's finish off. We got going with this Oscar De La Hoya response. Then after the Oscar De La Hoya response, I'm going to go to the Spence response to Oscar De La Hoya. And then, of course, we got to end with Eddie Hearns switching his tune, all of a sudden going from, you know what I'm saying, making it seem like Terence Crawford was punching up to maybe backtracking just a little bit. But who knows how much we can love Eddie Hearn at this point. By the way, Conor Ben, his B sample was positive. I ain't going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about that one of these days. But I'm not going to make this one about it. But let's go ahead and finish what Oscar De La Hoya had to say. Obviously, a little bit about Bivol, a little bit about Ramirez. I'm not mad at that. I do want to rewind it just a little bit. I just want to hear one more time about Oscar De La Hoya being a little bit honest when it comes to Terence Crawford, just saying he's exposing what's going on.
To work with anybody. We're willing to work with anybody just to make these fights happen.
Oscar, the Twitter a few hours ago. Just want to, just get your thoughts, man. What's in your heart? What's in your mind about everything that happened with Crawford and the stuff that you said on Twitter?
It's about time that the fight fans know what's going on, the truth, the reality. Crawford, kudos to him, him coming out and exposing the truth. That's what we're dealing with. and I'm fed up with it. And it's about time that the fight fans know what's happening, why these big fights are not taking place. Look, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, we did our part, the boxing part. Everything is agreed upon. Executives, TV, they all have to just come to terms. I feel very optimistic that this fight can take place, but you never know.
So in terms of the network stuff, like,
Hey man, you gotta give some respect when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya. And this is why I don't know why. I never thought I used to not like Oscar De La Hoya, not. I used to feel away about Oscar De La Hoya, but ever since that Triller card, man, he was going crazy. He was faded. He was just going, ah, la, 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 la. I was like, man, Oscar De La Hoya seemed like he a cool dude, man. He just be enjoying life, man. Then said people be so blind when it comes to the business side. It's the most important part. But it's like people don't want to associate business with boxing when you a fan. And I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make no sense. It doesn't really coincide. So it's like, I'm not mad at it. It's just, I just be trying my best to explain it. And I'm okay with to agree to disagree. And I love the back and forth. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully people can look back at it and have a different understanding. If you don't, it's all good. By the way, once again, I'm going to tell y'all, we had the craziest and the dopest debate. It was either Monday or Tuesday. That's what I'm saying. I'm dropping the link. Y'all come up in here. Y'all got something to say, man. I love the debates. You know what I'm saying? Live. I'm going to be dropping that separate version. It's either going to be how late this is going. We about 12. I may still drop it. You know what I'm saying? It's only Thursday. So I may drop it really, really late tonight, or it's going to be early in the morning. So y'all look out for that. It's a good time, man. We really debating, having a good time. So let's talk about it. Said I'm a little behind. I'm catching up on my other phone. No doubt, man. Salute. You already know. But okay. That was Oscar De La Hoya's basically his whole entire opinion when it comes to the situation on Terence Crawford, basically saying what he had to say in reference to the whole entire Spence situation. But let's go ahead and get into what Spence had to say, or at least his mindset or his response to what Oscar De La Hoya. It wasn't much, obviously. Oscar De La Hoya didn't have a lot to say, but he said enough. Where Spence felt like he had it. Spence is definitely feeling like he has to defend himself. It's interesting. Why all of a sudden everybody feel like they got to defend themselves? Let's talk about Oscar gets it because he was a fighter. So if you look at it, the whole totality, everything, I think Crawford's right as well as Spencer is right. I can explain. No, I agree. I'm not choosing sides in this, but I think both have valid opinions and valid points of what's going on. But at the end of the day, Al Heymon he's the puppeteer. He's the mastermind behind this, and people don't understand. Al Heymon wants this to go this way because he's brewing things. Like this fight not happening this year is going to make the fight that much bigger this next year. People don't understand that because they're so thirsty. But that's the point. All right, so Oscar De La Hoya has entered the crossfire of the latest boxing Twitter spat. The founder and head of Golden Boy Promotions recently sided with WBO welterweight champion Terence Crawford after Crawford offered his thoughts on the failed negotiations between him and IBF WBA and WBC champion Errol Spence Jr. for an undisputed fight that was supposed to take place in November. In his wide-ranging tell on Instagram Live, Crawford pinned the blame squarely on Spence and his business handler Al Heymon, founder PBC. Crawford is scheduled to face David, having signed December 10th in Omaha, Nebraska, Crawford's hometown. De La Hoya, who used to work closely with Heymon nearly a decade ago before a dramatic falling out, enthusiastically offered his support to the Nebraska native on his Twitter account. My respects to Terence Crawford in exposing the Al Heymon circus, De La Hoya said. I've been dealing with this shit for years. I promoted all of the PBC fighters. Sorry. Oh, I got that. I've been dealing with this shit for years. I promote all the PBC fighters, all the same bullshit with them. They are not in charge. I'll be going live soon to elaborate and expose the truth. De La Hoya has frequently blamed Heymon for supposedly scuttling fan-friendly fights. De La Hoya blamed Heymon over the summer as the reason why a fight would not be made or could not be made between De La Hoya's fighter Jaime Mwanga and Jamal Charlo. I just referenced that. It was De La Hoya, however, who had insisted that the zone share broadcasting duties for the fight with Showtime, which turned out to be the deal breaker. I said that. De La Hoya and Heymon worked closely with each other for many years until 2014 when the two entered a protracted legal tussle. Don't you get it? De La Hoya wrote to a user. Al Heymon is the cancer here when I promoted Broner, Spence, Leo, Deontay, Keith. They were relevant, and I had a plan for them to become stars. Now they're just fighting one time a year. If that, wake up, you idiots. The comments were not received kindly by Heyman's ace client and Spence. In addition to answering many of Crawford's claims, Spence offered his side yesterday in a series of tweets. In addition, he directed several withering ones at De La Hoya. Oscar and you didn't shit. You didn't know shit maybe about me or the other young guys coming up. You messed up introducing us every time. You was just a face. In another tweet, Spence pointed out that welterweight Rashidi Ellis left Golden Boy because of De La Hoya's supposed incompetence as it is related to handling black fighters. Ellis announced his deal with PBC earlier this year. Oscar, talk about exposing somebody. Rashidi left because you can't handle black fighters, Spence said. Later, Spence said that De La Hoya is simply a figurehead and that his company is steered by matchmaker Roberto Diaz and President Errol Gomez. That's actually been a pretty known. I think that's not news. Oscar De La Hoya, Rob Diaz, and Errol Gomez really run Golden Boy promotions. Facts. The comments De La Hoya are perhaps not a positive indicator that boxing fans will see a fight materialize between De La Hoya's charge Ryan Garcia and Heyman's client Gervonta Davis anytime soon. The two have reportedly agreed to all terms, but a significant hurdle concerns the pay-per-view distribution of the fight. So let me roll this down. Son. This is very interesting because this is basically, and I know that Jonathan is not in the room anymore, but this counts everything he just said. So if you have someone like Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis agreeing to all terms, but the reason why this fight isn't happening is because the pay-per-view distribution, where the broadcasting rights are going to be, you're telling me it's just as easy as a fighter saying, hey, I want to fight. Let's make this fight happen. Hey. Like, come on, man. I just don't understand how people don't understand the fact that this is a business. This is entertainment. People are making money, spending money, and trying to do the best and make the most of whatever's in front of them. Al Heymon is basically trying to discourage Crosses for being his own promoter. He's sitting Crawford for being his own promoter. He's sitting at a table where he wants promoted, so you know how he thinks. Thank you. Let's talk about. I got some wisdom up in here. It's like I feel like John's like Jonathan. You had to be young, bro. Because I'm like, how do you not understand? This is Al Heymon. Like Terence Crawford is a great boxer. This is the first time being a promoter. Al Heyman's been a promoter. He's been doing this. He has the upper hand. He knows tactics that he can use that will work in his favor. Spence wants to offset down so he can see if he'll handle what was actually lying to him without saying that Al Heymon, he was lying to him because Crawford offered $25 million. I think I kind of get that. You had a couple of misspells with autocorrects up in that thing, but I kind of think I think I understand what you're saying. But I just don't understand how people just. I do because you kind of looking at it because I want the fight to happen. If the fight's not happening, the fight, but it's like there's so much more than that. There's so much that goes up into that. Okay, so we still got to do the Eddie Hearn. So that was the article from Boxing Scene. We definitely still got to do the Eddie Hearn. But there were some things from Fight Hype that I wanted to play real quick. All right, this is what I'm going to do, actually. All right, actually, my bad, y'all. Like, nigga, you keep saying Eddie. Actually, this is a 4-minute Eddie Hearn. I want to see Eddie Hearn's response on the Terence Crawford situation. All right, let's do the back and forth first. Salute to the people, though, by the way. What time is it? It's 11:42. I still got some shit tomorrow. So, all right, this is what I'm going to do. We got some couple more things we're going to talk about. I'm dropping the link one more time. So if y'all want to hop up in here, man, get up in here. Show some love back and forth. Because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be up in this thing. But let's go ahead. I'm going to show the back and forth on Twitter between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. You feel me? This guy Terence, man, he's funny. All right, I'm about to show this up. I need some water to be 100 with you. I feel like my mouth dry. He claimed that his concerns over having transparency on the revenues and expenses for the fight was the big issue that killed the negotiations. Cap, my side agreed to show him everything. Terence Crawford responded and said, nigga, you Cap, y'all want to agree when I move around on God. Okay. I'm not mad at it. So he said, you ain't talking about this until I'm showing you that I'm about to move on to something bigger and better. You feel me? That's big Cap. I'm not mad at it. Errol Spence said, all money, not good money. I asked him where the 50 mil coming from. Who was over that hedge fund, putting the money up? He couldn't tell me. I think we all need to just meet in person. Terence Crawford responded, he said, laugh aloud, you couldn't put that on your kids, nigga. You was asked about the back end and you said you gonna talk to your people and you see what they say. Nigga, you a whole fraud on my kid's life. You know you had to get permission to even commit back. Nigga, you watched my live. Now you got something to say. Terence Crawford going crazy. I'm not mad at it though. What y'all think? Terence Crawford replying to everyone. This dude, Errol Spence Jr., is a clown. That's what Terence said. He had to go get his lives together. Laugh out loud. Now he got so much to say. If he was so-called his own boss, then why had I to talk to Al? Excuse me. Why did I have to talk to Al? That's right. I couldn't talk to you because when I did, you said you had to talk to your people. You can fool all your little fans that don't know who he really is, but you can't fool me at Errol with the smiling emoji, cry emojis in the beginning and going crazy with it. It's cold-blooded, man. Terence Crawford is going wild, man. I wonder what Errol could feel about this. How y'all feel about this? You think Terence is still ducking? You think he's just talking? He don't really mean nothing he's saying? He went with the live. Yeah, I know, and that's cool. More power to you. But when I made that call and I told you what was what, as a man, you didn't entertain it. When your people's told you not to, now you could have pulled my card and said, let's go. And see what was real. But did you? That's crazy. Terence is going crazy, man. How y'all feel about this, man? This is the most vocal I've ever seen Terence. Y'all believe him? You think he's just capping? Errol Spence responded saying, I didn't. You couldn't tell me who over his names or anything. Too much BS going on to be taking money from Joe Blow. I'm cool. Oh, man, that's a weak response, Earl. Oh, and for the record, Earl, I have a strong team. Why you think your team was going back asking why I want this and why I want that? Put it in the contract. Yeah, y'all thought y'all had one. Oh, man, Terence is flexing. I ain't feeling like he was back and forth. It's crazy. Funny thing is, Errol Spence, you knew the fight wasn't going to be this year. Your ass was on vacation with your family. Why me and my team was trying to make a fight for November when you wasn't even in the gym and it was September? Y'all was just dragging this shit out to blame me. Didn't I tell you that was a negotiation tactic? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. At Terence Crawford, you've seen an opportunity to get your money. I'm not knocking shit. You're not going, but don't act like we didn't give you everything you asked for. Shit. I even said you can walk out last. You do, and we gave you everything you asked for. 3 things that was already in the first contract. Errol feeling away. It's okay. Like I said, I've been ready since I came in this division. And all I've heard was excuses after excuses. Get a belt. You're taking the easy road. I'm on the wrong side of the street. Why I want this in the contract and now fight next year? What's next? And then Terence is going back at that response to the opportunity is cap. But Terence really talking, man. He really feeling away. I'm not even finna lie to you. Damn, they going back on. There ain't no way they going back and forth for 12 minutes. That'd be crazy. I ain't finna watch all that. So I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. Even though it's Thursday and Friday tomorrow, man, I'm finna go get the fuck up out of here, man. Hold up. You capping again. Not September. It was October 2nd. I went for my oldest birthday. He was dragging because you had the BFL pay-per-view you was talking to. These niggas is really going back and forth. But it's just really pointless back and forth because I'm like, y'all niggas ain't fighting until like 3 years from now, man. What's even the point of this? They doing this to build up the fight. I was just playing. Well, October, that's even worse. We was supposed to be fighting in November. Did you know that? Or not? Like I said, y'all was dragging shit out because y'all knew we wasn't fighting this year. When I moved on, y'all want to backtrack for next year, and I wasn't going for it. We're really going back and forth. This shit crazy, bro. I've been doing all that heavy lifting. I cleared away for him. For real, Porter was semi-retired. Look at the fight Porter had before Bud. Formella, Lafayette, and Kelbrook was overdone. Damn. That's classic. You know what I'm saying? You want to change the narrative. You want to change the conversation. You want to change everything you're talking about. Mikey Garcia was 2 weight classes below you. Never had a fight in the division at all. Damn. Sean already lost to Kell Brook and Keith Thurman, which both was undefeated. So you didn't do nothing that wasn't already done. Ugas was beat how many times before you fought him? He's a good fighter that before the pack fight, they was looking at him like a tough gatekeeper. So you're right. You're doing that heavy lifting. Laugh out loud. When you said you out of your mouth, you was taking the easy route. These niggas is really going back and forth. It's crazy. It's the only reason. Like, I'm trying to like be up out of here. You feel me? I'm trying to eat my good food, go crazy with it. But they really going back and forth. Okay, y'all. I'm out. Yo, Errol Spence, I wish you the best. I'm your upcoming fight and see you later, my boy. Let's go. I ain't mad at it for real. P.S. Errol Spence, when you spin a block, let's do something that's never been done before and make the negotiations public since you own your own boss. Since you are your own boss. All right, I'm gonna leave it right there. Look, I think I've said enough. Obviously, I got a lot of people disagreeing with me. They now, you know what I'm saying, they don't necessarily resonate with anything I'm saying, but I did my best, you feel me, to try and explain the reasoning and why I feel the way I feel. And if y'all don't just, y'all agree with me, it is what it is. It's how it goes for a lot of times. But I just want to say I salute to the people, man. I had a good time, man. We went through as much as we need to went through. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Thursday. It's about to be Friday. You already know the week is finna go crazy. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm gonna go live. But I'll probably have something to salute to the people. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time this weekend. I already know Fluence Nights are gonna be Saturday. I'm dropping the debate. I'm gonna drop it either late night tonight or tomorrow. That was a good time, but I appreciate everybody who hopped up in here tonight. Make sure I hit the like button, man. If y'all ain't hit the like button, make sure I subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. Make sure y'all notification gang, all that good stuff. But we dropping shit on a daily basis, having a good time. So appreciate everybody, man. I had nothing but a great time. I want to salute and shout out to everybody who came up in here in the chat. On the Twitch side of the game, salute to Kansas Cheyenne, salute to Jonathan Piedra, salute to Zen always, you know what I'm saying, showing some love, and of course salute to Let's Talk About It, showing some love, man. So had a good time, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be back tomorrow, hopefully. I don't know what type of format we're gonna be back as, but we're gonna be back. But I'm definitely dropping the debate, so y'all look out for that. That was a good time. And of course, we're gonna be back Fluent Style side of the game, and then on some shit Sunday. We're gonna keep it rocking, we can keep it rolling, we can keep it moving. Check out the Twitch, Fluencetv, man. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, notification gang, and enjoying the rest of your night. You already know this. I'll be back with more boxing on social niggas side of the game. Stay blessed, not